I guess you can say only the first and last part of this episode had truly any substance for the plot itself. The middle part had something, but it wasn't that important, I guess you could say, to the story and all. You know, the first part was pretty much the meeting the dwarf, because the dwarves are always blacksmiths and heavy drinkers every single time in these fantasies. They just make the best armor. It all goes back to the days of Lord of the Rings, and even probably even before that then too as well. But either way, that's just how it is. This dwarf has very godlike god eyes, where it can go through anything, even the strongest of hazel blockers, which is very impressive. Either way, saying how it's a very special type of sword, and we get to learn some interesting information about the world and the items and crafting, and even the mana itself. How you can have a sword of a high attack power, but you can have a sword of attack power that's probably less than 20% of that higher attack power sword. But you have a higher force of mana you can add on to attack power, you can become extremely strong. So to the point where, yeah, this sword is stronger, but if you add on your mana, you get bigger, you just cut it off. Simple as that. So it was a very good explanation. So, like I said, strength isn't everything all the time in these shows. Well, with weapons, and with the individual as well. Either way, um, pretty much just saying how there's only been like five great blacksmiths, pretty much being these very divine swords. But however, the sword that we're seeing right now doesn't have that great sword. So it's a very powerful sword, but not one of the strongest that the great blacksmiths have created. The divine ones, anyways. Will we get to meet some of these divine ones one day? Who knows? Who can say? It would be very interesting if we could. Probably not in anime. Sorry, I'm a little tired. But anyways, what I would say is that as I'm a manga reader, we have yet seen any of these blacksmiths, so probably way later down the road, unfortunately. But other than that, that's pretty much all we got from that. Um, Next is I would say was just fluff, a tour around town, and I guess this was very important for Fran herself. Realization. You can tell, despite how adorable she is a tomboy at heart. She doesn't really care much for cute clothing. She'll wear it. She won't say, "Oh God, I don't want to wear that." She'll wear it if it looks nice on her. So no problem there. But she prefers not caring much about it. She's rough and tough, eat a lot, no manners, stuff like that. She likes to get into a fight. That kind of girl. But what really mattered was the scene where she gets onto the bed. And she's so amazed by this normal room, in a way. Just a normal room with a bed and a table and chair and stuff, a window. But to her, it was the most amazing thing ever. And when you think about that, that's pretty sad. Because going back to Fran's past, she was raised by, in my opinion, despite what people may think about this, two very irresponsible parents. Two very irresponsible parents, I'm going to say it flat out, who took their child so they can level up, you know, to evolve into a dangerous situation. It's for you to evolve for that kind of high level, you need to fight the most dangerous of monsters, in a way. So that these two parents took their little child out in that kind of situation is very, very irresponsible. So because of that, I will stand by that. No matter what other people will say, I will stand by that. And they died. They died knowing they could die. Instead of leaving their child with someone to take care of them, they died. Then finally, you have Fran, who got captured, sold, put in slavery for God knows how long she was in slavery. So she doesn't know what it means to have a true hidey home. She doesn't know what it means to have a comfortable bed, nice food, good clothes, or anything like that. She was always constantly place to place, chained up, forced to be told what to do in harsh labor conditions where she could lose her life at any moment of the day. And now she's here. She's around town. She's eating good food. She's getting nice clothes. And she's also in a nice warm bed. So for her, that's everything in the world. And the sword himself believed that he was sent to this place to take care of Fran. That's probably not the case, but who knows. Either way, whatever his purpose is, I hope. I don't know, we're not going to find out until like way later. So there's that. So then we get to the final part of the episode where they're helping out the other adventurers that need help. And she's doing very well. And of course, she sets fire to the forest and he pours it out. But then later on, they use fire again, like twice, like 2 or 3 more times. I kid you not. After they said let's not use fire on the forest, they're really in the middle of the forest and they're still using fire. Isn't that a giant contradiction right there? So anyways, this is where I want to talk about was mainly when it comes to Fran and the sword. Remember, I'm always saying this. The sword is doing all the work. The sword is the thing that's overpowered, that is powerful. Fran is not. She is athletic, she's kind of tough, but when it comes down to it, without the sword, Fran would have been dying instantly. She would have been dead. The sword is pretty much doing all the work. So with that being said, is the reason why she, even with the high school sword around her, she still could get hit. Imagine though the stronger weapon hitting Fran on the back that you saw in the episode. It was like a rock or something she got thrown at. She was lucky it was a rock. Imagine it was something else, an arrow or something. It would have damaged her greatly. And she did get shot by an arrow, by the way. So even with the sword itself, the sword can't do everything. It can't. And this is a perfect example. But this is not the part I wanted to talk about to you guys. This is just only the tip of the iceberg of Fran's obsession and her ignorance. But she is a child, so that's a given for these kind of things. But her obsession to become strong, to evolve like her parents, where no one can look down on her kind, it really gets to her, why she'll never back down, why she wants to continue fighting. But this is very foolish. But again, it's to be expected, so I can't be too hard on her. She's a child. But then again, it's a sword to take up the mantle of parent and to tell her, don't do this. To force her to back down. Like, hey, you're way in over your head. We made a good team, but we ain't ready for this kind of action just yet, you know? She didn't even be on this mission, technically, you know? She should have backed off and alarmed someone about the situation. But again, these are two very ignorant people. The sword himself, I don't know if he has any recollection of his past because he said he don't recall his own name. But then, he knows to make Japanese food apparently. All of a sudden, okay, so you don't know your name, but you know how to make Japanese food. Okay, fine. And talk about curry. I swear. So you can tell there are some holes in logic within the story itself, even when it's being animated. That's like, doesn't make any sense. But anyways, we're starting to see the weakness of Fran, where she is not OP, but the sword is, where she herself is still vulnerable to damage. She can still be harmed, even with the sword by her side. If she's overwhelmed, or she's fighting a very high-skilled opponent and she's not ready for it, she will be harmed, is all I'm saying. So keep that in mind in the future episodes as we go down this path of the story. So with that, I will leave it there. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, of course, hit that bell icon. This is Madcrownxox on Medbay. Signing out.